You're listening to DraftKings Network.
At Sierra, discover top workout gear at incredible prices, which might lead to another discovery. Your headphones haven't been connected this whole time. Awkward. Discover top brands at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
Hey, remember when Dan asked Amin if he hates God?
It's crazy.
It was so wild.
I don't think of you as a spiritual person. Do I have that wrong? Like, I know that...
so we're doubling down on it.
Well, yeah, I guess so. I think hating God is too strong. I don't believe that that's what I said entirely.
Just doesn't think God exists. Yeah,
cynic.
A God cynic. I was like, what?
Are you a spiritual person? Would you consider yourself a spiritual person?
How do you define a spiritual person?
You define it. I'm asking you.
Then yes. If it's my definition, then yes. But I'm curious what your definition is.
I think of you as almost inherently skeptical about everything. And so I don't think I remember having a conversation with you on Pablo Torre Finds Out where you didn't have much use for whatever the spiritual center of yoga was, for example.
We're talking about ghosts, man. Like I don't believe in ghosts. I've been very clear on that. If there were ghosts, then there'd be a lot more ghosts walking around. You telling me like, oh, this woman died of heartbreak in a attic somewhere. There's a ghost there, but like all the slaves that died, they don't have ghosts. Like,
you ever been to the ghost tour in St. Augustine, Florida, though? Because that will convince you.
I've been to ghost tours all over this nation, man. I ain't never seen nothing to make me believe that there's any kind of life after death that exists in the same planet.
A cynic.
You ever been to ghost tours?
I really wanted to leave
ghost tours. Keep going to ghost tours. Let's go to Lexington, Kentucky. Go to a ghost tour.
I love when Dan's alone as a chicken is great for Dan.
What kind of chicken was that? The accent? Lexington, Kentucky.
JuJu, welcome. It is nice to see you. What are the fairest of all of the criticisms on today's show? I imagine that tomorrow we'll start the show by saying all of the things that we did wrong on today's show for about an hour and a half.
Yeah, first correction I have, if I recall correctly, the chickens were defeated by Jeremy Tachey's video for Tony Reality last week, not necessarily Taylor.
Still an upset.
I know he didn't want to bring that up.
Still an upset.
Yes, good correction. Thank you, JuJu.
Hell yeah, and Dan, my brother, please, just take it from, certain wars. You got to learn to take the L, brother. We sat here. I'm ashamed to be a part of this 2 days in a row. Amin had great points and checkmated you around minute 3, but you kept it going for 25 more minutes. Come on, where is the magic creator content? Does that button not work no more? Did we get rid of it? Because I thought we had a umpteen amount of times to press that button. Dan, and the fans of the show today, they said, Nathan Stacking from YouTube says, JuJu, you can't tell Dan that the chat has been overwhelmingly positive about the show today. Dan is out here making a damn fool of himself with this LeBron take. NDA Vader from Twitter, yo, Batard show. Dan is too smart to play coy about this topic. Darth Amin is right to call him out about it. This show is moving to OAN the past few days.
Oh!
I mean, the people have spoken, my brother.
That's worse than call me a God cynic.
Republicans listen to our show, too.
And they buy tennis shoes as well, in which you got on Michael Jordan for that, and LeBron did a great job at speaking up sometimes. So let's just try to keep it fair. Let's just try to keep it fair, because we did 25 plus 23 minutes yesterday on that, and not one mention of the Joker's heroic revenge game against SGA and the Thunder, where not only did the Joker step up, the entire team, the Oklahoma City Thunder team, not the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Denver Nugget team showed up. You feel me? From the first man on the bench to the last man on the bench, to the training staff. They was wrapping ankles. Good, bro, we need to talk about nothing from that game, but we sit here with this propaganda for day 2.
Mm-hmm. That was a good second game, though. I had, after watching Denver slog through that first one against OKC in the fourth quarter, to see Jokic go and lead against that defense, lead the Nuggets with 140 to 140 points.
Well, Dan, I gave you this stat last week. The Thunder had lost only 2 games by 10 points or more all season long, which was tied for the record. And that was game number 3 right there. So they will not hold the record.
Belt to ass.
Belt to ass.
Also, you had a little bit of. I know you were disappointed in Stephen A's first take response, but like you said, you were armed with the full story and information after the weekend, and so was Stephen A. Once Richard Jefferson and LeBron had that powwow with the hot mic, that's when Stephen A was able to say, wait, that wasn't about no damn LeBron. That was about Bronny. That's why we got what we got from Gil's Arena yesterday. Scorched earth, Stephen A. And so I think that's why you may have been disappointed on that Friday.
Okay, that's fair. See, Dan?
Hell yeah.
It's not that hard to be like, oh, okay.
You feel me? And also, the Joker of the day goes out to my big brother. I rocked his jersey today, Shaquille O'Neal, the Shaq Fu himself. How dare you sit next to Charles Barkley while he scorns the ESPN staff for not talking about the great teams. We're talking about the Lakers. We're talking about the popular teams, and we're not giving credit to the Cavaliers, bro, and teams like the Pistons who are having a great year. And then you do a disservice to Chauncey Billups as well as JP Bickerstaff by not mentioning the importance that the Pistons are having, and the Trailblazers, who the Chauncey Billups are coaching right now. They're actually doing a good job right now. So you do a disservice for both of those teams by being flippant, talking about you don't watch this. That's what's the problem with this media. That's the big problem right there. I love you, Shaq Fu. I love you, Shaq Gnosis. But come on, big brother, build a bridge, get over yourself, and tune in to some Pistons games, because them brothers are doing a great job right now.
JuJu, to be fair, when Barkley said all that stuff, he said to Shaq, "What's the name of that fool over there?" And Shaq said, "Who?" So Shaq wasn't really bought in on the whole argument from the beginning. That was really Charles' argument.
Yeah, well, I think that's what's wrong with the NBA coverage. That's why we have people around the world saying, I don't watch basketball no more. Combine that with these super teams. You tune in to the Orlando Magic playing the Toronto Raptors. You couldn't give a damn because nobody has you gotta love basketball, and all these stars are so clustered up together. Don't get me started.
All right, I want to talk about a couple of other things, but I also wanted to ask Amin what his opinion was on the idea that whatever you think of the lead NBA voices in this country, Shaquille O'Neal, Charles Barkley, Stephen A. Smith, if they're in your top group of NBA voices, they're entertainment more than analysis. It doesn't mean that they can't also do analysis, but the emphasis is on entertainment.
Well, we talked about this before, where people don't possess the skills to differentiate between what those guys say and do versus what great writers and reporters are doing, and just lumping it all as the media says this, when LeBron said that's the problem with the media. Well, it's like, well, I know plenty of people who analyze and break down the game, who do all the things that LeBron claims, or Kevin Durant claims, hey, why don't you guys just talk about the game? Say, but yeah, you never mention those guys. You're part of the problem. You're taking your platform, your voice that goes very far, and choosing, instead of saying, you know what, I really enjoy the writing of Tom Haberstroh. I really enjoy the writing of Marcus Thompson in The Athletic and Sam Amick and guys like that. Instead of that, you're choosing to talk about the same 4 people over and over again. Well, there's no wonder why those guys keep getting raises and keep getting paid and keep getting attention and keep getting every show, because the stars are endorsing them whether they want to or not.
We've got to get to a few more things with JuJu, and we'll have Amin in the rest of the week on basketball. But also, as part of this affliction, though, Amin, you've got those people who are entertainers talking about how many teams that have a real championship chance, a legitimate championship chance. So they have to invent other storylines, because you've got 4 or 5 teams to choose from as legitimate contenders.
Yeah, we've got, I would say, 6. There's 6 teams that are like legitimately have a chance to win a championship. And at that point of the year, yes, attention tends to wane on the lesser teams, because we're all getting ready to talk about these teams that we're going to be talking about through April, May, and June. The difference, and I think JuJu is going to point this out, which is Detroit's been getting better and better. So a team like Detroit at the beginning of the year was probably not on Shaq's radar. Now should be, but because of the way they started, wasn't really there. Same thing with Portland. They're probably not going to make the play-in, but they're playing a lot better now than they were early in the year. Even a team like the Wizards, who I've been clowning all year long, they've been like roughly 500 over the since trading Kyle Kuzma. So a lot of these bad teams are getting better, but the problem is for guys like Shaq, and I don't blame him on this one, you're going to be asked a million questions between now and June about the Cavs, about the Thunder, about the Celtics, about the Nuggets, about the Lakers, about the Knicks, maybe the Warriors.
You know what I mean? That was great. Like, I couldn't have said that better. I would definitely attend your funeral. I don't give a damn if it's overseas in Australia. I'm getting my behind on the plane. I would attend all of you guys' funeral, by the way. Like, I don't take it lightly.
Even
like,
Jeremy?
This means a lot to me. I know y'all don't have to answer if y'all would come to my funeral. I know the answer to that. But I would attend all of you guys' funeral 100%.
Thank you, JuJu. It's a dark compliment.
It's fair.
Do you before we get out of here on polls and stuff? I think you've earned today the ability to give just any kind of life advice that you would like to give to anybody in the audience. It doesn't have to be in victory lap form, but if you want the floor to give any life advice that people can use, please have at it.
Yes, a brother named Ronnie H. hit me on Instagram DM, and I won't read this message, you feel me? But I think I'll just share the advice I was giving him, bro. Friendships are not easy, man. Even the best friendship in the world, marriage, starts off with a, hey, better or worse now. Like, you feel me? It's a part of that contract. Your wife, she's gonna fart under the covers, bro. You gotta get through that Dutch oven. And the same thing with friendships. Sometimes we go through things with our friends, and sometimes we internalize them instead of going to that friend and saying, hey, bro, do you mind changing this? Sometimes we'll be offended by your friend, and we'll go to 12 people, 13 people, and be like, that person, guess what that person did? That's not necessarily friendship. If you want to call yourself a friend to someone, you gotta be one and give them an opportunity to be a friend back to you. Say, hey, bro, I didn't like how you did that to me. Can you change that? And that person now has the option to say, hey, no, screw you, get out of my face, and you don't have to waste time with that friend anymore. Go your separate ways. Or that person may surprise you and say, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Let me not do that again. And your friendship grows stronger forever and ever. And you know now you can depend on that person even if you drop the ball. Communication is key in every scenario, and just allow your friends to be friends, and they might surprise you and actually give you what you need.
Much easier to just talk shit behind your friend's back to 12 people.
Ronnie H. Ronnie Honleche.
Yes, very inefficient way to do it. What kind of polls do we have? Poll updates do we have today, JuJu?
Yes, sir. Is the person who says shan't an asshole?
101%.
91% of the audience says yes, he is.
Tatas.
Do you long for the day when you let off steam by dancing in a warehouse? 64% of the audience says yes, they do long for that day.
That script on that movie. Can you imagine that script? And now Kevin Bacon goes to the warehouse and just dances like crazy. Just what a shitty script.
I threw this on the poll because you guys were lingering in this. I thought you were about to ask it, so I just threw this for S's and giggles. Kevin Bacon's career is equivalent to Chris Bosh, Kenny Smith, James Jones, or Tracy McGrady. 37% of the Instagram audience says Tracy McGrady.
No way! Absolutely not. I'm not. You know what? This show has been disrespectful enough. You disrespected LeBron. You disrespected Shaq. Now you're going to disrespect Tracy McGrady. Good day.
Oh, wow. Good day. He hit him. Everybody hit him. Look out. Yeah, good day. Oh, my God. He punctuated it with a good day.
Those are your polls.
Thanks, JuJu.